Okay, good morning to all.
Good morning, sir.
Up to previous lecture, we discussed about the first type of feedback. Basically, there are two types of feedback known as negative type and positive type. That negative type, how it is used in the amplifiers. Based on that negative feedback, the various topologies that also we discuss. Then the advantages and disadvantages of negative feedback also we discuss. So only single disadvantage is there, that is by using negative feedback, gain of that amplified circuit gets decreased, while there are so many advantages. For example, like uh, it improves the stability to the gain, then it improves the input and output impedances of that amplifier, as well as it improves the bandwidth, right? So looking towards all these advantages, we can neglect that single disadvantage, that is decrease in gain, and that we can improve by using cascading multistages with each other. Yesterday, we analyzed that uh, multi-stage amplifier also. So the disadvantage of negative feedback in the amplifier circuit that we can overcome by using multi-stage amplifier. Okay. So the next type that today we will going to discuss, and that is positive type of feedback. Okay. So see, whenever you will compare this basic block diagram of positive feedback with the previous one previously discussed, that is negative type, you will easily observe in the mixing circuit both signals are in phase. That's why I written it plus plus. While in case of negative feedback, the feedback signal was 180-degree phase shifted right now. But in this case, these two signals, that is input signal and the feedback signal from this feedback network, they are in phase. And that's why we are calling it as a positive feedback, right? Now, one more thing you will observe here, particularly I mentioned this block as non-inverting amplifier. In that block, it is mentioned as non-inverting amplifier with its somewhat gain, like capital A. Okay. So non-inverting means what? You might have studied the op-amp and various configurations of op-amp that we can use, that is inverting configuration and non-inverting configuration during your first year course. So forget about that op-amp. Non-inverting, simply it stands for the input and output of this non-inverting amplifier are in phase. Okay, and here we can take that CD configuration or CG configuration, that is common drain and common gate configured amplifiers, so that the input and output of both, that is CD and CG, it will be 0-degree phase shifted, right? Then there is one feedback network with feedback factor, that is beta, and hence the feedback signal, particularly I again mention it as a VF, its input is VO. So we can say this non-inverting amplifier, it will be a voltage amplifier, right? Its input and output both will be voltage signals, right? Is it okay? Inverting means, see, that common source configuration of MOSFET, we can see it is the inverting amplifier. Inverting means what? There is a 180-degree phase shift between the applied input signal and obtained output, right? That's why that amplifier circuit is known as inverting amplifier, and non-inverting means what? Input and output of that amplifier, it will be in phase. Okay. There is one feedback network. What is the purpose of feedback network? It will go on to feed back some part of output as a feedback signal that will go on to mix with the actual input signal source, that is VS indicated over here, and that two voltage sources, that is original signal source and the feedback voltage, that will be in phase. That's why we are calling it as a positive feedback. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So just wait, we will, okay. Now that screen is also okay. Now we will going on to observe the effect of this positive feedback on the gain. we have to derive for this positive type of feedback, right? And what is the relation between that AF and A that we will going on to observe. So at your end, just note down, let AF, let AF is the gain of that amplifier with feedback, and that is equals to VO by VS, and suppose capital A, that is open loop gain of that means without feedback of that amplifier, is equals to VO by VI. Okay, so the same thing we noted while deriving the relation in case of negative feedback, right? Now, looking towards this block diagram, we can easily write that VI equals to, what will be there? VI equals to, in case of negative feedback, we return VI equals to VS minus VF. If you can recall, just write, in case of negative feedback, the actual input signal to that basic amplifier is nothing but the difference between source signal and feedback signal. Why we taken the negative sign over there, or why we subtracted it? Because that feedback was negative type. Is it? Now in this case, if we have to write the equation for VI, what will be there according to you? Just write VI equals to
VS plus VF.
Very nice. Because it is positive type of feedback, or we can say both signals are in phase. Okay. That is equals to. Can we replace that VF? What will be this VF? This feedback voltage. In terms of feedback factor, how much it will be? See again, I will write here that feedback factor beta equals to XO by XI. Right now, what is its output? That is VF. And what is its input? That is nothing but VO. Because this feedback network, it is connected to the output. Right now. Is it okay? Therefore, that VF equals to what? Beta times of VO. So you can write it. VI equals to VS plus beta times of VO. Is it okay? And hence, we can write that VS equals to, therefore, VS equals to VI minus beta VO. Agree? Hence, that VS equals to VI minus beta VO. Is it okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now see, we already written that AF equals to, therefore AF equals to VO by VS. Then you can write that is equals to VO by VI minus beta times of VO. Is it? VI minus beta times of VO. Now, dividing numerator and denominator by VI over here, that is equals to VO by VI divided by this VI by VI, that will be 1 minus beta times of VO by VI. Right? That is equals to. How you can write it now? VO by VI, it is nothing but open loop gain. Correct now? So this is nothing but A divided by 1 minus beta A. That is AF. I think while taking the review of that negative feedback, I written that relation wrong over here. In case of negative feedback, that relation is AF equals to A divided by 1 plus beta A. That 1 plus beta A, it is nothing but desensitivity. Correct now? This is for negative type of feedback. And see, for positive type of feedback, we have A equals to A by 1 minus beta A. That is the difference. Is it clear? So from this relation, what you will conclude, or what will be the effect of positive feedback on the gain of that amplifier? Will it increase, will be same, or decrease? You have to compare AF and A. Looking towards this one. Can anyone? Can we say AF is greater than A or less than A? Fast. I will justify it.
Greater than.
Yes, that AF will be greater than A. See, suppose that open loop gain is taken as, for example, 30. Okay, let A equals to 30. Beta is equals to, suppose, 0.5. Right? Try to calculate that AF. How much it will be? Calculate it. Let that AF, sorry, that A is 30, beta is 0.5. Try to calculate AF. It will be. Okay, do it at your end. I will go ahead. Okay. So finally, by this equation, we can conclude by using the positive feedback, the gain of that amplifier circuit gets increased, right? So it indicates, see, even if there is no input signal source, if it is not available, if a part of output is fed back to the input side, that feedback signal itself will going on to act as an input to this amplifier, right? And as the feedback will going on to increase continuously, at the end, there will be an infinite output. But in actual practice, there is one criteria. By satisfying that criteria, we can say without reaching that output to infinite, that amplifier circuit starts to oscillate instead of amplifying the signal. Okay. So this basic concept, it is used in one of the applications, and that is known as an oscillator. So in case of oscillator, there is no input signal source. Only by using a feedback, positive type of feedback, we can obtain the output as sustained oscillating output. Is it clear? The use of positive feedback. Is it okay? Looking towards this basic block diagram, what we can say, even if there is no input signal source, that is VS, still we can obtain the output without any input time varying signal. Okay. How we can obtain that also, we will going on to discuss in the application, actual application, and that is nothing but oscillators. Various oscillator circuits, that also we will going on to study, but that oscillator, it is based on this basic concept. So is it clear? Is it okay? Shall we go ahead?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So what you noted at your end, without any input, we can obtain the output, right? Due to positive feedback, that amplifier circuit will go on to continuously increase the output, and at the end, it will be infinite. But in actual practice, without reaching to infinite, that circuit starts to oscillating instead of amplifying. Okay. And that application is known as a oscillator. So the next topic is nothing but oscillator, and that circuit to work as an oscillator, there is one criteria which is known as Bark-Hussein criteria. Okay. So remember, to have the sustained oscillations or that circuit to work as an oscillator instead of as an amplifier, that circuit it should satisfy this criteria. That is Barkhausen criteria. So the first point in that Barkhausen criteria, the total phase shift around the loop between input and output signal, the total phase shift around the loop between input and output, it should be either 0 degree or 360 degree. 360 degree means again it is 0. Why? I written 360 degree, that also I will go on to explain in detail. Okay. Whenever we will go on to study that actual oscillator circuit. And second one, to have the sustained oscillations, the product of open loop gain and the feedback factor, that is A into beta, it should be greater than or equals to 1. Now, when it should be greater than 1 and when it should be equals to 1, that also we will go on to discuss in detail. Okay, later on. So is it okay about this Barkhausen criteria? There are 2 points, important points related to this criteria, and that is nothing but first one, the total phase shift around the loop, that is between input and output, it should be either 0 degree or 360 degree. And second one is what? Open loop gain and the feedback factor, that is A into beta, it should be greater than or equals to 1. At your end, just note down these 2 points. Title it as Barkhausen criteria. It is important one. Now, if that A into beta is not equals to or greater than 1, if it remains continuously greater than 1, or if it remains continuously less than 1, and at the end, if it continuously remains equals to 1, what happens? That we will discuss. So, first point is that A into beta is continuously greater than 1. Okay. If the product of open loop gain and the feedback factor in that circuit, if it continuously remains greater than 1, then there is overdamped oscillations. Means that circuit will go on to work like this. That oscillations will be overdamping in nature. Okay, this is known as overdamp. So when overdamp oscillation occurs, if that A into beta is continuously remains greater than 1. Okay. Second, if that A into beta is continuously remains less than 1, then underdamped oscillation occurs. Underdamped means at the end that circuit will start to work as an oscillator, and immediately after some time that oscillations will get stopped like this. So this is known as underdamped oscillation. Note down at your end. If A into beta is continuously remains greater than 1, then overdamped oscillation occurs. If that A into beta continuously remains less than 1, then underdamped oscillation occurs. And third one, if that A into beta is equals to 1, then sustained oscillation occurs. That means that circuit works perfectly as an oscillator. The amplitude as well as frequency remains continuously constant like this. And that depends on the components used in that oscillator circuit. Transistor, that means amplifier circuit, as well as that feedback circuitry. Is it okay about these 3 points related to A into beta? Are you noted it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So I will just repeat. If that open loop gain and the feedback factor, if it continuously remains greater than 1, then the overdamped oscillation occurs. if it continuously remains less than 1, then underdamped oscillation occurs. And whenever that A into beta product continuously remains equals to 1, then only we can say that circuit will go on to work as an oscillator and will go on to produce the sustained oscillations. Okay. Now, about that first point, that is the total phase shift around the closed loop, that should be either 0 degree or 360 degree. Okay. Now see, if we preferred, already you are familiar now about that basic block diagram of that oscillator and that positive feedback, concept of positive feedback. But as per that basic block diagram, we will not go on to consider the Vs. Okay. Without any input signal, our circuitry will go on to produce the sustained oscillation, and that's why we are calling that circuitry, we will go on to call it as a oscillator, right? And there should be a positive feedback, then and then that circuitry will go on to work as an oscillator, right? Now, see, if that basic amplifier in that block diagram is in CF configuration, common source configuration. So, whatever feedback signal will be applied to it through the feedback network, what is the feature of that common source configuration? It will go on to produce the output with 180 degree phase shifted. Yes or no? There is phase shift in case of only CF configuration and no phase shift in case of CD and CG. But what is the disadvantage of CD and CG? The gain is somewhat less as compared to common source configuration. And hence, we will go on to prefer the common source only. But what is the output of common source? It is 180 degree phase shifted, right now. And if the same input signal through a simple feedback network, resistive network, is fed back to the input, then we can't say there is a positive feedback. There will be a negative feedback, because output, if output is positive going, then at the same time, the input will be negative going. And that's why we can say there will be a negative type of feedback, is it? So we can't satisfy this first point then. That is, the total phase shift around the closed loop, it should be either 0 degree or 360 degree. Yes or no? Are you getting it? See, suppose there is common source MOSFET amplifier, CSE MOSFET amplifier. Now you are well familiar about its input and output. In common source configuration, input and output signals are 180 degree phase shifted. Are you agree with this? During our practical also we observed it properly. Whatever input we are applying to that CS MOSFET amplifier and whatever output we are obtaining, if we compare these two using our CRO, then what we observe over there, there is 180 degree phase shift, right? Mathematically also, I proven it how there is 180 degree phase shift by applying the QVL to the output loop of that amplifier. Okay. So see, if there is a simple resistive type of feedback network with the factor of beta, and if it is connected as an input signal source to this CS MOSFET amplifier, see what will going on to happen? Whenever there will be a positive half cycle at the input, at the same time, output will be negative half. Are you agreeing? As there is 180 degree phase shift, right now. This simple feedback network will go on to provide its output with somewhat low amplitude like this, which will be negative. So what will be the input to this CS MOSFET amplifier? It will be now negative input instead of positive, right? That is the feedback signal. And just imagine, whenever input will be negative, what will be its output? Output will be positive, like this. So the output of feedback network, it will be positive, and input to this CS MOSFET amplifier, it will become now positive, right? So you will observe that A into beta product, it will goes on decreasing less than 1, right? And whenever that A into beta is less than 1, what happens? Underdamped oscillation occurs. So this circuitry will going on to stop as an oscillator, and at the end output will remain 0. Is it clear? Is it okay? Shall I explain it again if you are not getting?
Yes, sir. Please explain one time.
Okay. So see, as per this criteria, Bark-Hussein criteria, the total phase shift around the closed loop of that oscillator circuit, it should be either 0 degree or 360 degree, right? 360 degree means what? Again, it is 0, right now. 180 degree phase shift means what? Whenever there is positive half cycle, and if the output is negative, then what we are calling it? We are calling it as 180 degree phase shifted signal, input and output signals, right now. So instead of that, if input is positive and output is also positive, then what we can say, how much is the phase shift? It will be 0 degree, right now. Or we can say it is 360 degree phase shifted, because both are in phase, right? So if in that oscillator circuit, if we prefer this CF configured amplifier circuit, that is common source MOSFET amplifier, as per its feature, whenever its input is positive, its output is negative, and if the part of that negative is fed back to the input side, then how much will be the closed loop or phase shift around this closed loop? There will be 180 degree phase shift. Yes or no? Whenever we are considering input as positive to that CS MOSFET amplifier, it will go on to produce the negative amplified output. The part of that negative amplified output we are feeding back to the input, right now. But originally input was that positive half cycle, right? And what we are feeding negative part of that negative output. So this feedback network with feedback factor as beta, is it? So here we can say there will be 180 degree phase shift between input and output. So we can't satisfy this first point of that Bark-Hussein criteria. As per this criteria, the phase shift between input and output, it should be either 0 degree or 360 degree. Is it clear up to over here?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, if we decided we have to use CF configuration MOSFET amplifier only, right? Can we achieve 360 degree phase shift? Already between input and output, how much is the phase shift over here? It is 180 degree phase shift. Is it? By that common source configuration, between input and output, there is 180 degree phase shift. That we know right now. We will go on to design this feedback network in such a way that it will go on to produce 180 degree phase shift. Right. So see what will go on to happen. Whenever the input to this CS configured amplifier will be positive half cycle, we'll consider initial input as positive half cycle. Okay. The output of that MOSFET amplifier will be negative, that we know. Right. We design this feedback network in such a way that it will be able to produce extra 180 degree phase shift between its input and output. Its input is what? The output of amplifier. Right now. We will go on to design this feedback network in such a way that its output will be 180 degree phase shifted. So as its input is negative now, what will be its output? Its output will be positive. Now just check. How much is the phase shift between input and output? So there is total how much phase shift within that loop? 360 degree. And that's why we are calling it as a positive feedback. Is it clear? So only the difference is what? In that negative feedback amplifier on the oscillator circuit, basic oscillator circuit, first point is in oscillator, there is no any input signal source, no VS is there, right? And second one is what? That feedback network is not a simple resistive network, not a single resistor, right now, or not a single capacitive network. It is designed in such a way that that feedback network also will be able to provide the 180 degree phase shift between its input and output, right? So when input was positive, after CS MOSFET amplifier, we have the negative output. that negative output of MOSFET amplifier is given as an input to the feedback network. The output of feedback network will be again 180 degree. So phase shift will be, total phase shift will be 360 degree. That means we can say the input signals remains in phase, right? Or the total phase shift around that closed loop, it will be 360 degree. In case of our negative feedback amplifier, there was input signal source Vs and the feedback signal was 180 degree phase shifted. And third point is what? That feedback network in that negative feedback amplifier do not provide any phase shift. Is it clear about these 3 points?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So this is about the basics of that oscillator circuit. Now the question may get arise to have initial somewhat input signal, because already I told in case of oscillator there is no any time varying signal. That means there is no any source as an input. Still that circuitry will be going to produce the output as time varying, or we are calling it as an oscillating output. How it will be possible without any input initial start, how it will occur. Initially how that circuit will start to work as an oscillator. Once it will start, then it's very easy. Whatever the time varying output we are getting, some part of that output with 180 degree phase shifted will go on to fade back to the input side, and later on it will remain continuously as a oscillating in nature, right? But what about the start? So remember, you already studied about that CS MOSFET amplifier. So many resistors are there. Basically that R1 and R2 voltage divider, right now, to bias that transistor in its saturation region of operation as an amplifier, right? So see, as I told, there is no any input signal Vi or Vs. So still how it will start to, initially how it will start to oscillate. So remember, as there are so many resistors like R1 and R2, which forms the voltage, or which works as a voltage divider network, right now. In these passive components, there are few free electrons, and they just migrate in all directions. Few free electrons may get migrate like this, few may get migrate like this. Similarly through this R2 also, right now. So due to the migration of these small number of charge carriers through the resistors, there is a very small time varying drop, right? Due to, as I told, due to migration of few charge carriers from bottom to top side and few from top to bottom, that means in both directions, the charge carriers are migrating through that resistor, right? Due to that small number of charge carriers, there may be a small or low amplitude time varying signal across that resistor like this. Is it okay? Due to the small number of the charge carriers which migrate here and there through that passive component, that is basically resistor, there will be a very small voltage drop across that resistance. Small voltage drop means what? Its amplitude will be very, very small, but there will be positive as well as negative up cycles of that small voltage drop. Okay. Now that small voltage drop initially will be going to act as the input to our amplifier circuit. What is the use of amplifier? To amplify the input. Whatever the input is given to it, that amplifier circuit will be going to amplify it. So even if that drop is very, very small in nature, but bidirectional in nature again, it will be going to amplify it with somewhat large amplitude. Some part of that output we are feeding back with 360 degree phase shift, and that circuit will start to oscillate. So this is known as a startup mechanism of oscillator. Is it clear how oscillator starts? Is it okay? Shall I repeat it? So see, in case of oscillator, as already I told, there is no any input signal, time varying input signal. Then how we can obtain the output as time varying, right? For example, like a sinusoidal, and then some part of that sinusoidal or time varying, we are feeding back as a input, right? As there is no any time varying input signal source, so initially how that startup will be going to occur. So that startup is occurs due to the migration of charge carriers through the resistors. Okay, as that charge carriers move here and there, the drop across that resistor will be positive as well as negative, and combinedly it acts as a somewhat time varying input signal. Initially, that MOSFET amplifier will go on to amplify that small input, and later on it will keep that oscillations in sustained condition like this. So during the startup mechanism, remember, during the startup, that A into beta, it remains very high. That's why I written it as A into beta is greater than 1. And whenever sustained oscillation starts, that means a sufficient input gets fed back to the feedback network. Later on, it immediately goes to A into beta equals to 1. And that's why this second point I mentioned here, A into beta, that should be greater than or equals to 1. So that greater than 1, it requires during the startup of that oscillator, and equals to 1 during its continuous operation, right? So during startup, as A into beta is greater than 1, overdamped type of oscillation starts, and once that oscillator works properly at that time, that A into beta, it remains equals to 1, so that the oscillation remains sustained in nature. Is it clear now? Is it okay? Initially, that A into beta, it should be greater than 1, because the input signal to that amplifier is a very small in nature. This is known as a noise signal. Okay, that noise signal, it occurs due to the migration of charge carriers in both directions through that resistors. Okay, and that noise signal amplitude is very, very small to have sustained output or sufficient output. Initially, that circuitry will go on to adjust that A into beta factor greater than 1, so that a sufficient output will go on to achieve by that circuit. Some part of that output will go on to fed back as the input now. There is no Vs, remember. So that feedback signal, as it is 360 degree phase shifted, that feedback signal, that is Vf itself, will go on to act as the input. And once that output is sufficiently large, later on that A into beta product, it kept as equals to 1, and hence we can say later on that sustained oscillation will be achieved by using this oscillator circuit. So is it clear up to over here?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now the next topic is classification of oscillators. Basically, the oscillator circuits are classified as sinusoidal oscillator and non-sinusoidal oscillator. Sinusoidal means its output will be sine in nature, and non-sinusoidal means its output will be like square wave, triangular wave, etc. Okay. So depending on the components used in that circuitry, we can design and develop that oscillators as sinusoidal and non-sinusoidal. Okay. Similarly, there are another type of classification based on the frequency of oscillation. See, whatever the output we are getting, sustained output we are getting, depending on the frequency, at what frequency that oscillator circuit is oscillating, depending on that, again, that classification is done, like low frequency oscillators or somewhat large frequency oscillators, etc. Okay, and that low and high frequency oscillators that we will be going on to study one by one. So I think our time is also over. So we'll start that first oscillator, that is inductive capacitive type, that is LC oscillator, from the next lecture. Okay.